Ladies and gentlemen, mute button again. Welcome to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident fanalist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_daddy. Today is practice number 5. Pads go on today. In fact, that seems to be pretty common across the NFL. I believe the Minnesota Vikings put the pads on today. The Jets not only put on pads, but are actually doing live tackling, which demonstrates how completely stupid they are. They were, like 2 days ago, thought they just lost their quarterback for the season. Today is his first day back, and they're like, let's start tackling. Not that they're going to tackle Fields, but still. Did we learn nothing from that experience? By the way, there are, Chicago Bears, Justin Fields people, as well as like Jets fans who are like, Justin Fields is so tough. He's already back. It's like, okay, can we reverse engineer that for a second? Let's look at that from the other perspective. Dude hurt his toe and is able to go out and participate 2 days later. Can anyone explain why he needed to be carted off the field? Come on now. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and get started right off the bat? I don't think there's going to be a Packernet After Dark today. Last I checked, there's not a lot of calls, so I think this is all we're doing. We'll get started with Matt LaFleur's press conference here. Again, we're going live. We'll do it live! Good news for Elton Jenkins. He is officially coming off PUP. He will be limited in individual drills, but it's a big step forward. Keyshawn Nixon, once again, first guy out on the field. A comment apparently from Matt LaFleur also on Anthony Belton potentially repping at guard. He said, I think he's got the talent to do that. We just want to try to get him a little more settled on the perimeter at tackle. So kind of similar to a lot of other positions. They don't do this a lot with offensive line, which they probably should do more. But the idea being, let's start you somewhere, get you good at it, and then if we want to cross-train you, we can do that. But it does sound like they are going to hammer tackle and leave it at that for now. Packers' offensive line to begin practice is Rasheed Walker. Oh, no way. I mean, I know we're not doing team, but here you go. Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom. With a question mark at right guard, this is pretty much their starting offensive line. I would, if I had to guess, Morgan would be the right guard week 1. But first time we've got to see the crew back together, even in limited fashion. Savion Williams doing walkthrough with first team reps. We got Quay Walker doing some walkthroughs at linebacker. First time he's done that. More ramp up for Quay. Nagler says Walker and Savion Williams doing walkthrough with the ones. We got Elton Jenkins starts practice with the ones at center. Quay Walker starts practice with the ones at middle linebacker. Just walk through, but notable. New Packers running back Israel Abanikanda getting reps at kick return. Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney, Javon Bullard, Lucas Van Ness, Evan Williams, all on kick coverage team. Break the idea that teams aren't for starters. The idea is dead. Returner coverage doesn't matter. Best guys on the field. Hodkowitz says, hard to see one-on-ones today, but Lucas Van Ness opened the drill with a wicked spin move. I believe it was against Walker. More positive Van Ness developments. Elton Jenkins did all walkthrough and individual work, but gives way to Ryan at center for team. So back to Sean Ryan there. Starters in team, Love, Jacobs, Kraft and Fitzpatrick, Reed and Dobbs, Walker, Morgan, Ryan, Monk, Tom. So again with Morgan at left guard. Defense looks like it is exactly as it has been. However, they started with Bullard at safety next to McKinney. Very next play, Evan Williams came out, but that is interesting to me because, again, my desire has been for the corners to be Nixon, Hobbs, Valentine, for Bullard to go back to safety and learn there. I'm not talking about starting. I'm talking about being, for example, the number 3 safety, hopefully, ideally, maybe whatever. I don't care, but I want him to learn to be a safety. So the fact that he's rotating in at safety now gives me a little bit of hope, especially as Valentine has been absolutely tearing it up in camp. Savion Williams is doing 11-on-11 with the ones. Toss play to Lloyd. Hobbs comes in aggressively and looks to bring him down, and Lloyd is hurt. First of all, how many times is Hobbs going to hit somebody too hard? Second of all, Lloyd is just, the amount of injuries. That guy has never been on the field for more than 5 seconds without getting hurt. He walks off gingerly with a trainer. Hodquist says Marshawn Lloyd slow to get up after the last run, gingerly walking off with head trainer Brian Engel and Nate Weir. Nagler says Hobbs goes low on Lloyd on an outside pitch. Good stick, but definitely not like what you like to see in practice. Tom gets in Hobbs' face a bit. Lloyd is limping as he gets up with the training staff. Hobbs needs to chill out. He just got scolded for this. Too violent, too aggressive. The first frickin' play, he takes a guy out with a low hit. You gotta not be an idiot. Couple back-to-back pretty pass plays on offense with Love to Dobbs over the middle and Willis to Hardman on the run along the sideline. Herman says Hobbs definitely went low and brought Lloyd down. Hobbs has not been back in since. He's along the sideline with his helmet still. We'll see if he gets in again. Love has a conversation with him a few plays later to the sideline. Great coverage by Micah Robinson on a deep ball downfield to Golden. Clifford went long, but it was well out of bounds and uncatchable. Sam Brown is a fun player. Tenacious block on Micah Robinson on the outside. Lloyd is still out here standing behind the running back group now. One's back on the field, still no Hobbs. He might be done for the day. Another note on fantastic coverage from Micah Robinson as Golden tries to get him on an out and up. Really nice job using the sideline as his help. Deep shot completely neutralized. Nice rollout by Willis. To the right, finds Hardman on a deep corner. Jordan Love's hard count strikes again. Just got Devontae Wyatt to jump across the line. Love with a beauty on a deep out to Golden with Nixon in tight coverage. Nice rollover grab by the rookie. Good ball from Love finds Golden for an outstretched gain on an intermediate corner. Love finds Golden along the sideline. These are the same play, just in case you were confused. I'm just reading the different notes on it. Love to Golden along the sideline, and Golden went up and got it in an extremely contested catch with great coverage by Nixon. Awesome catch by 22. Wood says Jordan Love connects with Matthew Golden for 26 yards on a deep out against Keyshawn Nixon. Golden showed how natural he is catching the football. That has been the consistent note from day one. Holding on as Nixon tackled him to the ground. Big play from the rookie. Probably shouldn't tackle him to the ground, but okay. Cameron Azier, it's a new one. Jordan Love with a perfectly floated ball to Matthew Golden, who showed off his Romeo Dobbs-esque hands to make the grab over Keyshawn Nixon. Got 2 feet in bounds, too. The rookie is impressive. Offense getting some good looks downfield early. Savion Williams wide open downfield, and Willis finds him for a good pickup. I've been dreaming for that good Savion Williams note. Finally got that one. Good fit by defensive line, possibly Cox, leads to a Melton tackle for a loss of Jalen White. Savion Williams gets tons of separation on the next play. Willis finds him. Eversol with a pile of notes here. One of them says Edrin Cooper in on the first 2 runs by Jacobs, nothing doing. A lot of just insane comments about the Hobbs thing. We've got a wide range of the Packers are soft, I guess for either somebody getting hurt or the Packers being upset about a guy breaking very basic rules. I'm not exactly sure where the soft comes in. All the way to the other side, which is he should get released, talking about Hobbs. So, I don't know. Ryan Wood says now it's Savion Williams' turn, back from concussion. The rookie catches a 32-yard pass from Malik Willis on a deep corner. Brenton Cox bringing the physicality versus the run. A lot of heavy contact on the edge. He then says, after the play to Savion Williams, checks down nicely to tight end Sims on a shallow release off of bootleg. Wes Hodkowitz says, competitive first team period. Some thumping, some bumping, a little chirping. Got another comment about the team being soft. Hobbs is now back in with the ones. Marshawn Lloyd, on the other hand, does not have his helmet, and the guess is that he's done for the day. Love overshoots Golden over the middle, leads to a Hobbs interception to end third down period. Dude goes right back in and gets a pick. That's certainly how you get back in the good graces. Love gifted him that one, I guess. Herman says Love throws high for Golden. He needed to get it there. Golden skies to get it, and it bounces off his hands, and of course it's Hobbs with the pick. Hafley's defense bluffing blitz looks, sending others, forcing Love to react. He finds Reed underneath to convert on third down, Then slightly high throw glances off of Golden's outstretched hands, lands in Hobbs' hands for an interception. This has been somewhat of a recurring thing, by the way. Jordan has generally looked very good. There have been some pretty brutal decisions and throws. All of them have seemingly come off of pressure. And again, I think we've got that hero ball thing going. And there's going to be more hero ball in training camp where you try to push it to see what you can do. But I still think you need to be, let's practice making good decisions too, not just, I wonder if I can fit it in there. Huber says, I haven't seen Golden drop one since he's been here. Probably not a drop here either, but Love's pass was too high, went off Golden's fingers for an interception. Ryan Wood officially calls that a drop. Matthew Golden's first drop since he started wearing a Packers jersey. Love had him on an in-cut beyond the marker on 3rd and 7. Throw was a bit high, but hit Golden's hands. Couldn't grab it. Deflection went straight to Nate Hobbs for the interception. Love's 3rd and camp. By the way, can I just explain to you how this perfectly illustrates what I'm talking about? How drops can correlate to the quarterback accuracy. It's a drop because it's a bad throw. If this was a good throw, it would not have been a drop. If it's even a drop. A lot of people barely even mentioned it grazed his fingers. But this is what I'm talking about. If you want the drops to go down, yes, the receivers have to be better. So does Jordan. So far, the only drop of the day that I'm aware of is because of Jordan throwing a bad ball. Herman's got a picture of Josh Jacobs coming over and talking to Lloyd. They're both down on one knee. Jacobs obviously trying to encourage Marshawn Lloyd, who I'm sure is beyond frustrated at exactly what I just said. The fact that the guy cannot play a single practice all the way through without getting hurt. McManus improves to 18 for 18 with makes from 33, 39, 45. That's crazy. A lot has been made about Bo Melton's position switch, but not much has been said about his role on special teams. Top returning flyer and also working opposite jammer with Valentine in punt return. Now we got Marshawn Lloyd hobbles off with trainers, takes his helmet off. The update is Lloyd currently working on the sidelines without a helmet. Can't seem to catch an injury break. We'll see if this one is significant as his past issues. Jaden Reed and Keyshawn Nixon take turns turning Daniel Whelan punts. Returning probably. Whelan looks in midseason form. Mecole Hardman also gets a punt return. Matthew Golden closed punt period with some returns. Savion Williams doing live team work with the ones. And now we got Brenton Cox Jr. getting looked at by trainers right now. He's walking toward the defense now under his own power. Hey. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take our first break. We'll come back, continue through some of the camp notes, and we'll be right back. By the way, can I just elaborate? I know I'm talking to a very small group of people, but for anybody that's of the mind that somehow anything that has happened today is evidence of the Packers being soft, I just... A handful of comments here. Number one, out of 32 teams, 32 have the same or similar rules about hitting, tackling, and bringing to the ground. The idea that the Packers are being uniquely soft in any kind of a way, when a player breaks a rule, when a team says no hitting, no tackling, no bringing to the ground, whatever the rule is, and you violate that rule and injure a player, you will and should be taken off the field. What do you think? You should get a high five? Atta boy. What is this, bounty gate on your own team, you frickin' moron? Why do you want to hurt your own players? What are you talking about? What is the benefit of that? It's going to make you tough? Watch me snap your ankle, because then when you come back, you're going to be super tough? What kind of stupid nonsense is this? Beyond that, I don't know where you've been, but the soft moniker did not apply to the Packers last year and does not apply to the Packers this year. That's not the case anymore. So you're wrong. Beyond that, you want to talk about a physical team, like the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles? Do me a favor. Go find out if they have rules about hitting in training camp. Go call them soft. In fact, I'll tell you what, why don't you go to training camp in Green Bay, Wisconsin, watch how violently these guys smack into each other, and then call them soft for not hitting harder. See how that goes for you. It's just silly. It's this fake macho bravado nonsense, which, again, anything in its proper context makes sense. Yes, there is an element of, wanting to get, toughen up for the season. And there's a reason they're putting the pads on. And, even quarterbacks will say, like, you got to get that first hit out of the way. I mean, there's elements to this. But you do it in a controlled environment. I mean, maybe we should just have somebody show up with a frickin' AR-15 and just start shooting the guys. You know what I mean? Just toughen them up. I mean, if you can take a bullet, you can take a hit, right? Why are you being soft? Why are you being weak? And if you think I'm being ridiculous, yes, that's exactly my point. You are being ridiculous. That's exactly my point. The idea that somehow going low on your own teammate and injuring them should be praised is stupid. It's practice. We're practicing how to run routes and catch the ball. We're practicing slow, proper technique. We're not diving at each other's ankles and injuring our own teammates. You want to go give a high five to the guy that's going to make it harder for us to win a Super Bowl because he's out there injuring our own players? Because it's tough and it's manly and it's cool? Go ahead, give him a big round of applause. Let's go give him a raise. Let's give him a raise. Let's give him a big bonus on that check. Atta boy. We should talk to Van Ness and Gary and be like, you know what? No more red jersey nonsense. Go smoke that dude. The red jersey stuff is soft and it's for the weak. If he's a real man, he could take a hit. This is just fake bravado. That's all it is. Anyways, first time I've seen confusion from the Packers defense all camp. Looked like Isaiah Simmons may have been in the wrong spot. Late adjustment. Kraft comes open and Love finds him on a bootleg. While Zahn says, I'll never understand putting Jaden Reed or now Matthew Golden out there returning punts. Pretty vulnerable spot for your game-changing wide receivers. Roll out Mecole Hardman and call it a day. I'm in agreement. I understand that you want to try different things, but let's very rapidly start honing in on the actual competition and stop playing stupid games. McManus now 21 for 21, good from 49, 41, and 38. He is 6 for 6 for today. Wild man. Nazir Stackhouse stacked the line of scrimmage to hold up Wilson at the line. He bounced outside, but Simmons was there to clean it up. Willis to Hicks over the middle for a nice pickup on a great hands catch. Not much for Willis, not much for Willis to go, but Kalen King breaks up underneath pass for Sims anyway. Attaboy King. Defense gets another punch out, this one from Evan Williams versus Kraft after leak out into the flat, but ball went out of bounds. If I'm not mistaken, that's not Kraft's first fumble. Didn't Bullard punch one out on him? Now you got Evan Williams. I think the first note I've heard about Evan Williams, which again is not necessarily bad. Kraft has looked, I think, pretty good, but he's got to secure that ball because they're hunting for it out there. Xavier McKinney is so freaking smart, calls out that it's going to be a hard count before the play. He, of course, was right. Poor exchange with the center, and Love throws things off. Love throws a 50-50 to Golden, but it falls incomplete with Hobbs in coverage. Sounds like it was just a mess from the start. Couple of notes here from Eversol. Some of these are overlapped, some not. Love to Kraft rolling out to the right. First down. Williams punches it out as 85 was stepping out of bounds. Quick hitter to Reed for 5. Brooks run for 3. Gary in on it. Love throws up 50-50 lob to Golden. 22 tries undercutting Hobbs, but couldn't get to it. Good play by 21. Sounds like that ball was probably underthrown. It's an old note. Spofford says, my amateur 2-bit analysis of the first day and pads for the first unit so far. Offensive line won majority of pass pro reps. D-line won majority of run game reps. Well, that's unfortunately exactly what you would have expected. Offensive line is good pass blocking, bad run blocking. Defensive line, pretty decent run blocking, not good pass rushing, or run defending, or whatever. Hopefully that isn't exactly the case. Amar Johnson has wheels, bounces a run to the outside for a big gain. Sam Brown, man, skies for a ball on the outside along the sideline. Dude got up and somehow got both feet down. Not a huge gain, but a very impressive catch. Eversol says, nice catch by Sam Brown on the sideline. Left his feet fully extended, 2 feet in for the first from Elgersma. Nagler says, another practice, another great catch from Sam Brown. Skied to snag it and made sure his body landed in bounds as he fell to the ground. Kid just keeps making plays. Elgersma with arguably his best throw of camp, rolling to his left and firing to hit Cornelius Johnson downfield in stride. Carrington Valentine almost had another pick. Read the play perfectly, jumped the route, couldn't quite bring it in from Willis. I'm getting excited about Valentine, man. He is just looking good. Willis deep left to Malik Heath. Awesome catch on a back shoulder ball against tight coverage from Melton. right in front of us. Heath being attended to by trainers. All right, that makes 3 now. Nagler says Malik Heath with a fantastic catch on the left sideline in 2 minutes. Laid out with the twos just inbounds to snag a 25-yard bullet from Willis. Great play. Now we got the summary here. This is Andy Herman 2-minute drill. 1:45 left, down 30-28, no timeouts, 1st and 10, ball on their own 30. Twos up first. Dontayvion Jennings at center. Swing play to Wilson on first for a first down. Clock ticks. Must have been a nice run. Valentine jumps a ball intended for Heath. Can't make the pick. Valentine has such great instincts on the outside. Malik Heath with an incredible twisting catch with Melton in coverage, 26 yards. First down and out of bounds. Malik banged up on the play. Williams with a catch over the middle, followed by 2 runs by Wilson and a QB spike. Willis got them to the 20-yard line. 37-yard field goal upcoming for the win. McManus drills it. Offense gets the win. That's 22 in a row now, right? Crazy. Nice drive by the offense, but I'm more interested in the kicker. All right, we got the ones up next. Same scenario. Love incomplete to Reed. Low and behind him a bit. Bullard in coverage. Love's kind of struggling a little bit today, it seems like. This is not his best day. Love to Golden for about 5. Clock ticks. Love to Reed for a first. Love to Reed on a slant for 9. Love to Reed up the seam for about 20. Jacobs up the middle for 3. Love gets the offense to the 25, 43-yarder for the win, drilled per usual, offense wins, huge drive for Reed, that does it for practice. So, been saying too, I've been wanting to hear some more from Reed, big Reed drive on that one. So we had the first pass to Reed, and it was a bad pass. Love to Golden for 5, and then a first down, so at least a 5-yard pass on that first completion. Reed again for 9, Reed again for 20. So it was like at least 35-yard drive on that. The only other person that caught a pass was Golden for 5 yards, and Josh Jacobs ran for 3 yards. Probably just picking on Bullard quite a bit, but still, good to see that Jordan and Reed got a good thing there. Also, again, not a great day from Jordan, but after that one bad pass, he locked in, drove down the field, and won the game. Ultimately, that's all that matters. Yeah, Wes Hodkowitz pretty much confirms what I was saying. 3 passes to Reed for 37 yards, including a 23-yarder down the seam. Sets up the 43-yarder from McManus. Willis and Love lead winning 2-minute drills. Sets up field goal, automatic McManus. And for practice, through 3 kicking practices, McManus is now 23 of 23 after adding makes from 36 and 43 to win the 2-minute drills. Herman says, I didn't see it, but apparently Dontayvion Wicks dropped out of practice relatively early with a potential injury. He was not in any of the team drills as far as I saw. I think that makes 4, right? First day of pads, man. Hopefully these are all relatively minor. Little tweaks, little bang-ups, whatever. It's early, it's hot, it's first day of physicality. It's going to start hurting a little bit, but hopefully nothing serious and long-term. Yeah, it's Marshawn Lloyd, Brenton Cox, Dontayvion Wicks, and Malik Heath. All right, well, we will obviously get some more clarity on that hopefully tomorrow as far as the injuries are concerned. Again, hopefully that they're minor. What to do for the remainder? Well, a couple updates. Apparently, Colorado head coach Deion Sanders and his medical team announced that he had a bladder tumor that's been removed. Sanders is now cured from cancer. Jalen Hurts apparently is the first NFL player to ever endorse Sprite, which is interesting, but also it kind of seems surprising. But when you watch him actually like drinking Sprite like a Coke commercial, it's like, yeah, I've never seen that in my life. Kind of weird. Steelers are releasing 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver and returner Cordero Patterson. Oh, and here's some pretty big news from Ryan Wood. Elton Jenkins said he expects no change to contract coming with move to center, but he's on board. Had 2 conversations with the Packers this spring, one to consider move, second to accept. Jenkins cited family reasons for not participating this offseason, not position move. So either he's not telling the truth, or we were fed a load of bullcrap for a very long time, and this whole contract thing with Elton Jenkins was fake pretty much from the start. So that's great. Elton Jenkins adds, for sure he thought about the financial implications of moving from guard to center at one point, but he isn't anymore. He's focused on being able to perform for the team. Jenkins said he missed OTAs because of a family matter, not because of contract. Another interesting little insight here. According to Matt Schneidman, Jenkins said he told the Packers last season he eventually wanted to play center, his main position in college. Said he thought it would help the Packers get the best 5 out there. Said he took a little while to agree to switch after the team asked him to in his exit meeting. Lee Keith said he fell on a football on the back shoulder fade and it knocked the wind out of him, but he's good now. So call it down to 3 injuries to keep an eye on. But I think it's all the news we're going to get from the Packers. Why don't we take our final break? We'll come back, go through some of the NFC North. If there's time, maybe we'll grab a couple calls. We'll be right back. Not a massive amount from the NFC North over the last couple of days. Guys are starting to strap the pads on. The Vikings re-signed Josh Metellus to a 3-year, $36 million contract extension. Overall, general positive feelings about J.J. McCarthy so far. They revealed that he's going to be participating in the first preseason game, and then he's done after that. They're also very happy that their kicker went 5 of 6 on field goals. So, just to give you an idea of how impressive it is to have our kicker at, 24 of 24 so far? As for the Lions, because they got a little bit of an earlier start, the 27th was actually their second day in pads. Offensive line continues to look like a work in progress. The rookies are coming along pretty well. Intensity remains high. And then for the Chicago Bears, couple of notes here. So the rookie wide receiver Luther Burden is back on the field. I don't know how much he's participating, but he's at least back on the field. Brad Biggs says, practice has wrapped up about an hour and 45 minutes in sweltering humidity. Major emphasis on the run game with the first day in full pads. Some of the pass stuff was half speed, 2/3 speed, not a lot to go off of. It is funny, there are 0 notes from any Chicago Bears reporters on Caleb. 0. Which is pretty shocking considering that's not only the biggest, but borderline the only question that really matters for the Bears. The fact that maybe a big part of the reason for that is that they really are not passing, and when they do, they're doing half-speed drills, and they're also hammering the run game. It might just be what they determined to do a long time ago on this day or whatever, but it's starting to feel a lot like what the Chicago Bears do every year. They recognize they need to run the ball more, and they also recognize that their quarterback needs a lot of work, so they've started slowing that down for him to see if they can even just get him playing at half speed. In somewhat bigger news, Bears defensive end Tano Passanio, who is, I believe, a recent signing for the Chicago Bears, left practice on a cart. Appeared to be a right wrist or hand issue. Some overall notes from the 27th and 28th. Offense struggled in red zone drills with Caleb and the first team unit stumbling through sessions. Offensive line reshuffling. Darnell Wright involved in the adjustment. Tight end Colston Loveland showed energy and potential. 28th, first padded practice. Heavy run game, as I said. Colston Loveland continues to turn heads with strong performance. DJ Moore made an incredible grab over Tyreek Stevenson. And that's about that. So not a ton going on. Pads go on. Injury numbers go up. A couple other bits of news that are somewhat recent. Cortland Sutton just signed a 4-year, $92 million extension. And then there's this really odd story regarding Christian Wilkins. Wilkins, last year, I think, signed a massive defensive tackle contract with the Raiders. I always thought it was relatively high to begin with. He ends up getting cut this year, which seemed weird, and they're like, yeah, well, he hurt his foot, and he's refusing to do what we say, so we're cutting him. Okay, I guess. Now there is a report that makes even less sense. Article from ESPN, Christian Wilkins, who was released by the Las Vegas Raiders on Thursday, kissed a fellow player on the head, and the teammate took offense to it, a source told ESPN's Adam Schefter. The incident was not the sole reason Wilkins was cut, sources said. Wilkins has been recovering from a Jones fracture, which he suffered in his left foot last October. So wait a minute. It wasn't the sole reason, but it was part of the reason? Last week's incident happened inside the Raiders' locker room. One source told ESPN that the interaction was playful, but the teammate didn't see it that way. It's not known what the player did following the incident, a complaint was filed to Raiders' Human Resources Department, oh lord, which investigated the incident, a source told Schefter. The Raiders have declined to comment. Last offseason, Wilkins signed a 4-year, $110 million deal, $84.75 million guaranteed, which I believe the Raiders are claiming they don't owe him, and he's filed a grievance against them for that, which I'll tell you right now, if it turns out that this has something to do with it, unless you can actually get away with calling this like conduct detrimental, I have a feeling this is going to work heavily in Wilkins' favor. Bro, you can't steal $84.75 million from me, or however much is left guaranteed, because I kissed a dude on the top of the head. Such a weird situation. As weird as it is to kiss a dude, even on the head, it's even more weird to go run to HR. Who runs to HR? Why would you ever talk to HR? If you don't like it, do something about it. If it bothers you that much, just hit them or something. Or tell them don't ever do that again or something. Why you're just going to run to HR? What is wrong with you? Makes absolutely no sense. NFL gets weirder every single year. All right, let's take a call or two because we got a few minutes to fill here. Uncle Rico, what's going on?
Yo, Ryan, it's your Uncle Rico.
What's up, man?
What's happening, brother? What's happening, Packer fans? Beer Cheese Benny just called in and gave us a recipe for cooking steaks, and I was just going to give you mine because it's quick and dirty.
Great.
The way Uncle Rico burns a steak.
I was going to say, be
Uncle
careful.
Rico fires up the grill, usually the gas one because I don't have time for my charcoal grill.
Okay.
You know, you get home from work, it's in the dark, it's 9 o'clock or whatever.
I do know. That's usually what I do with the pellet grill when I'm just not feeling it with all the charcoal and everything. I'm just firing up the pellet grill.
Fire up the grill and you jump in the shower quick and you jump back down. And my grill, I have the modified gas regulator on, so 600. Race her up to 600 degrees. Well, before I jump in the shower, and sometimes before I go to work, if I've had brains enough to actually get the steaks out of the freezer and thaw them out. But sometimes they haven't thawed out before I go to work. So anyways, before I go to work, I just usually throw some salt and pepper and garlic on there. And anyways, so the steaks should be in the fridge with the salt and pepper and garlic on them. And when I get out of the shower, the grill's at 600. Whip them on there, 3 minutes on, and usually like 3/4 inch thick meat, 3 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on the other, 5 minutes later, and, counting, grabbing them off and making my way to the steak knife and the plate. I'm in front of the tube eating my steak, so 10 minutes from shower to steaks, you know what I mean? Quick and dirty. And the wife's like, "But I just started the potatoes." And I'm like, not eating potatoes. It's late. We'll eat the potatoes for breakfast. So that's the way Rico does it, and I don't know if that's normal or that's just me. But the other thing, I heard Savion got a concussion. That's not cool. I hope that is
sounds like he's back already.
Deal, and I don't know. I just thought about it till now. I didn't look in on the interwebs or anything and see if he's had any previous concussion issues in college or anything. Hopefully not. And they said that Golden and Dobbs, maybe, I'm sure Dobbs and Golden were wearing the Guardian helmet. So maybe all the players should wear the Guardian helmet when they're not in a game. Maybe they should all wear them when they're in a game. Heck, I don't know. They look goofy, but if it keeps you playing football. All right, then. Worried about Savion. Not worried about the steaks. Rico out.
Yeah, I'm certainly skeptical of the Guardian caps. They look like there's probably more to what it is than what it looks like, but it looks like nothing. Like you just got a shower cap over your helmet or something. I'd hope it's a pretty advanced piece of technology on the helmet. Not that I would trust it either way, but it sounds like he's doing all right. We got some other issues to be concerned about right now. Fortunately, no, major players. Brenton Cox would be the one I'd be the most concerned about, but it doesn't seem like it's anything massive. Marshawn Lloyd didn't even go into the locker room, so he should be back, I would think, pretty soon. Heath, again, essentially said he just got the wind knocked out of him. So fingers crossed there's nothing too serious. Sounds like Elton's working his way back, Quay's working his way back, so we're heading in the right direction. If Hobbs could just cool it a little bit, I think we'll be all right. But no, man, steak sounds good. Yeah, usually. So I was mentioning before, depending on the thickness, whether you do the reverse sear or if you just blast it, I think under an inch, so like you said, like 3/4 of an inch is when you can start doing sort of just the blasty blast on both sides. I probably would still do reverse sear because I just like doing it that way, and it's easier and takes more time, but it takes less attention. But I think the recommended way would be the way that you're describing. But I will say, as far as like getting sides done, at timing that, I'm so bad at that. I'm just the worst at trying to make two things at once and trying to make sure it's done at the right time. If I would just pay attention to how long things take and start marking those down, which I have done like twice, and I couldn't tell you where I put it, so I wouldn't know anyways. But even things like when I make rice, which is what I make with like every meal now, is just some jasmine rice, which is amazing. But I got the little pressure cooker deal for the rice. How long does it take? I don't know. I don't know how long it takes. So even if I knew how long the meat took or how much longer was left on the meat, I wouldn't know what to do because I don't know how long it takes. I know I don't even know. It like counts down from like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but it takes a long time to get up to pressure. And I don't know how long that takes. I think it's like a half hour or something to make but I don't know. I don't know. And if I ever am making like 3 or 4 things, it's a complete disaster. Always massively underestimate how long things take. Like, I got to get the meat on at like 4, so at 3:30 I go to start the grill. Yeah, right. Yeah, freaking right, bro. That thing is not going to be up to temperature in 30 minutes. The amount of time it's going to take you to just find the lighter, get outside, grab the charcoal, get out there, take the grates out, dump out all the ashes, put that in the garbage, come back, refill the charcoal, put in the little lighty thing, relight it, put it back in. By the time you're even just starting to light the charcoal, it's been 10 minutes. How many minutes does it take to actually light the charcoal? How much time then does it take for that to come up to temperature? Because you just leave the lid open at first, otherwise it's not going to light. So you light. Then when it actually starts to catch, then you close it and the temperature slowly starts coming up. Then you get the temperature dialed in. Then you got the white smoke. You wait for the dirty smoke to kind of like get out of there. Then you let it heat up a little bit. Then you clean the grill when it's nice and hot. Then you go do something and forget and say, oh, shoot. And then you go back out. And then you realize you haven't even taken the meat out. So you got to take the meat out. And then you got to find a tray to put it on. And all the trays are dirty. And you're like, oh, crap. So you clean one of those off. And then you got to get a knife and cut the meat out and then put that down. And then you pat it down nice and dry. And then you put a binder on it or you don't or whatever. And then you got to pick a seasoning and find a seasoning. And which one do I want to use? And then you ask your kids, what do you guys think you should use? It's been well over an hour at this point. So yeah, I'm bad with that stuff. Usually something is sitting for a while. But again, we just have 4 calls, so we're gonna skip Packernet After Dark tonight. We've got, I believe, one more training camp day today for you. Should be another padded practice, so we'll go over that tomorrow. Then we got a day off, so we can kind of go over a couple other things that have been setting to the side. But you guys have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.